Yo, what's good, guys? First off, I'm gonna eventually start looking like a caveman because I can't hit the barbershop, and the majority of these videos will be from the comfort of my own home. Don't ask why, don't complain, you know why. So there it is, let's just get that out of the way. Okay, so often I get asked, when is a good time to upgrade my camera? And in short, to answer this, I can't really say. I think we all switch cameras or upgrade to different cameras for different reasons. So it's not a standard reason on why you should be upgrading your camera. So what I want to do in this video is talk you guys through every single camera that I've ever owned. And I want to give you guys the reason on why I decided to either upgrade or switch from that camera. Okay, so I often say, you guys hear me say a lot that the Canon T2i was my first camera ever. Well, I actually had a camera before that. I had the Canon Rebel XSI. That was my true first DSLR that I ever had, that I ever owned. At the time when I had that camera, I literally had no idea what I was doing at all. I used to just take it everywhere, take random photos of random things. It just looked cool. You put the camera strap on it, it was like a nice accessory. So I had it, I took it everywhere, but I had no idea what I was doing with it. So from here, the Canon Rebel XSI, this is where I upgraded to the Canon T2i. And this is like a no-brainer upgrade. The T2i had video capabilities, 1080p at 24 frames per second, even slow motion at 720p, whereas the XSI didn't have any video capabilities at all. So that's definitely a dub on the upgrade. I owned the T2i for years, used it for tons of projects. But this is where I first got into a 2-camera setup. I picked up a Canon 60D. Now this wasn't necessarily an upgrade because I still kept the T2i. I would just keep one camera solely on shoulder rig at all times and one camera solely on a glide cam at all times. That was just my setup when I was out shooting music videos. And this was kind of genius now that I think back on it. I used to be able to get through video shoots so fast because I didn't have to swap anything. But overall, the 60D had better photography capabilities. It also had a swivel screen. But I would chalk that up as an L. I don't think that was a good upgrade between the T2i and the 60D. And to be completely honest, the improvements on the 60D weren't why I upgraded. I honestly don't know why. It was just like the new camera to get. So I bought one because, I don't know, I just thought somehow it would make my videos better. I ended up rocking the T2i and 60D setup for a while. And then one of my homies in the hood just pulls up on me one day like, yo, I got this camera you might want to buy. Turns out it was a 7D. Now I had no idea where the 7D came from. You don't ask these kind of questions when you in the hood. You just buy if you want it. You don't buy if you don't want it. So I was like, bro, look, I got $500. What you gonna do? And next thing you know, that 7D was mine for 500 bucks. So I had a T2i, I had a 7D, and I also had a 60D. And I decided to sell the 60D. No apparent reason at all. I have no clue why I did that. I don't know, maybe it was just because at that time, the 7D just had like it had like the stature with it. Like if you ever searched up the 7D online at that time, you were just seeing straight bangers, straight heat videos, everything. So they were literally the same camera. Big L when I think about it. I had 2 cameras now that didn't have a swivel screen. The 7D and the 60D were pretty much the exact same camera. So sold that, now I got a T2i and a 7D. So I rocked out on the 7D and the T2i combo for a long time. This is where I felt like, okay, I'm actually getting good at making music videos. I'm actually doing some real creative stuff. But at the time, Canon was just dying out in the video realm. It was just so many competitors popping up doing way better things than they were. And then comes the GH4. The GH4, I had to buy it. That was like a true game changer. 4K. 1080p slow motion, variable frame rates, log, focus peaking. This upgrade right here is like the feeling that I strive to feel every time I upgrade. I haven't felt that feeling again yet. Going from a 7D to a GH4 was like game changing. I sold the T2i and I sold the 7D and I bought a GH4 and it literally changed my life. That upgrade from the T2i and the 7D to the GH4 was a total dub, total win. So this was the setup. The GH4 producing some amazing quality images, gave me my cinema look that I had been looking for. But this was like where I wanted to kind of get into YouTube. So I needed a camera to create the YouTube content on. So this is where I decided to buy a Sony a6300. Again, not technically an upgrade because I'm still using a 2-camera setup, but the reason why I bought the a6300 was because of the portability, so small, and also the autofocus. The GH4 had, I don't even think any autofocus at all. And this was a setup for a while. This is probably the most rememberable setup to a lot of you guys who got on my channel early. The majority of those vlogs, almost every single one of those vlogs, probably all of those vlogs and those music videos throughout that time period, probably for like a year or so, maybe a year and a half to 2 years, were solely shot on the Sony a6300 and the GH4. So that was my setup. GH4 for music videos, a6300 for my YouTube content. So then the GH5 was about to release, and to prepare for this, I sold my GH4. It seemed like the right thing to do. I love the GH4 so much. The GH5 was about to come out. It had in-body image stabilization. It had 4K 60s. It had 180 frames per second, and was also supposed to have some decent autofocus in it. So I was like, whatever. So the GH4, and then I got the GH5. And when I got the GH5, I hated it. I hated it so much. At the time of the release, they had no update for speed booster, so you had to do this little weird workaround to get your speed booster to work. The vlog had terrible ghosting at any ISO pretty much past 2000, and the autofocus was straight garbage. I ended up selling it. I couldn't take it. I sold it immediately, and honestly, that was an L in my opinion. I shouldn't have sold that camera. The upgrade was actually fire, but I just didn't give it enough time. I didn't give time for them to push updates. I didn't give time for them. I didn't give time for myself to get used to the camera, to get used to using Vlog how it should have been used. And in my opinion, that was an L. But you'll see what happens though. So from here, I only had a Sony a6300. That means I had to transition that into not only just shooting vlogs on it, shoot music videos, and the transition was pretty dope. I actually enjoyed the a6300 a lot. I like that camera a lot, but man, when it boiled down to it, when it came down to it after using it for a while, I missed that in-body image stabilization so much. I really did, and the battery life running was just garbage. And every now and then the camera would overheat. It really didn't overheat too much for me. A lot of people really dealt with that overheating issue a lot, but for me it was kind of minimal. You know, it'll pop up every now and then, but those two things, the battery life and the in-body image stabilization, just kind of drove me over the edge with the a6300. So by the time I had grinded out the a6300 until I couldn't anymore, a few updates had been pushed to the GH5. The speed booster issue was corrected. Autofocus was supposed to be better. So I just ended up selling on my Sony gear and went back to a GH5, as weird as that sounds. And yeah, I would say that was a win in my personal opinion. I almost felt that feeling of going from a 7D to like to a GH4. But man, when I went back to the GH5, the in-body image stabilization, man, the variable frame rates, just stuff that I love about the Lumix series, it really just resonated back with me, man. So I was super happy. But yeah, so I used the GH5 for a minute, love the camera. I just didn't love creating YouTube content on it. Like the micro four thirds sensor, also the autofocus wasn't better from that update. It was a little bit better, but it still wasn't reliable. So creating my YouTube content kind of sucked on that camera as a whole. Trying to vlog no autofocus, using focus peaking, or like I would set the camera up in a setup like this right here, and then I would have to have the camera close enough to me to focus. Like, look right now, like you guys aren't close enough for me to focus. So this setup right here would have been like a total issue on the GH5, my bad. So that was a problem. So I love the camera, just didn't like creating YouTube content on it. So from here, Canon hits me up to do the 6D Mark II campaign. They're like, yo, we'll send you one for free. Just try it out, do a sponsored video for us. I'm like, cool, whatever. I'll take some extra money. I had no intentions on actually keeping the 6D Mark II. But when I actually sat down and used it, man, it checked a lot of boxes for me creating my YouTube content. It's full frame, amazing autofocus, great colors out of camera, great photos for my social media content. So I ended up keeping the 6D Mark II, and that became the two camera setup. I had the GH5 and I had the 6D Mark II that I had gotten for free from Canon. Shout out to them. First and only camera that I've got for free. That was dope. But yeah, that was the two camera setup for a while. GH5 music videos, 6D Mark II for YouTube content. And now that I think about it, man, that's where I should have stayed. I really should have stayed on a GH5 and a 6D Mark II. That was it. But you know what? It's something about us creatives. We always got this thing where we got to create a problem for ourselves to solve, even though it's no problem present. Everything was fine. You know one thing you'll never regret though? Squarespace. I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys are at home right now, not doing anything. You're just watching me on YouTube. Why not take this time to start that online store that you've always wanted to? Or maybe you're into blogging. Why don't you start that blog? Or why don't you start that that portfolio website so you can get some more clients to see your work in one central space. Squarespace is a place to do all of this. They have amazing all-in-one designer templates that are easy to use. So if you've never created a website, you can go on Squarespace and be totally fine. Aside from that, they have award-winning customer support. So if you ever need somebody while you're creating a website for help, they got you. You can also get domains at Squarespace. It's basically the all-in-one stop shop for anything website related. So go start your website right now at squarespace.com with a free trial. And if you enjoy it, you want to keep this website up, you want to get things going a little bit more, you can head over to squarespace.com/YCImaging to get 10% off your first purchase. Link will be down in the description. I had it in the back of my mind like, yo, I love this camera, but it's just not sharp enough. I don't know if I was too used to using 4K or what, but it was like, it was, I don't know, man, just creating a problem, yo, overthinking it. So then I come up with this really stupid idea to downsize everything and try to merge the music video camera with the YouTube camera and try to meet in the middle and make one camera. And what did I land on? I landed on the Sony A7 III. The Sony A7 III. Ironically though, when I first got that A7 III, I was loving that camera, yo. It was like full frame 4K was just a game changer for me. I had this really long honeymoon phase with it, and then everything that I hated about the camera just started to intensify. Honeymoon stage, man. I try not to review gear until at least a month out, because this is a real thing. And it's not even just with cameras, it's with shoes, cars, girlfriends. You have to give yourself enough time to dislike something, because in the beginning, the majority of the time, you just love something because it's new and it's fresh and it's fun. But if you give it a little bit, you might start to hate it. And I feel like that is what happened with my A7 III. I really hated how inaccurate the colors and tones were on the A7 III skin. I really disliked the quality of the 120 frames per second. The in-body image stabilization was mediocre. And I also got no eye tracking autofocus via HDMI whenever I would connect the monitor. It just, those things, man, they just drove me crazy. I bought an EOS R and I just completely shelved the A7 III. I still got one, I just never use it. If you want to buy an A7 III with an MC11 adapter for $1,500, hit me up ASAP. I'll sell it to you right now. To be honest, I bought an EOS R because I planned on shortly after buying a C200. I just haven't done it yet. Every time I go to B&H and I get to that cart to check out, that $6,500 price tag slaps me right in the face. And I'm just like, yo, I don't know. I'm gonna eventually pull the trigger, man, but I can't do it right now. Hey man, look, I said all that to say this. Don't be like me. Don't continuously upgrade your camera unless it's a complete overhaul. I haven't felt that game-changing feeling since I left the 7D and went to a GH4. And that's that feeling that you should strive to have every single time that you upgrade. Like, if you're changing cameras, it should be like, okay, this is game-changing. This is totally new. This is a complete overhaul. And honestly, I feel like in this day and age with how good cameras are, you should really just save up your money to buy that one camera that you just love, that you feel like will hold you over for a couple of years. Do me a favor, man. Head down to the comment section to let me know, what was your dumbest camera upgrade that you feel, it might not have been dumb at all, just might not have been as good as some of the other ones that you made. But let me know the upgrade that you made that you was just like, yo, this isn't really that different. This isn't different enough. This isn't different enough to make a difference, if that makes sense. I just said a lot of difference. But with that, man, I'm gonna head out. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Stay safe. Always stay safe. You gotta stay safe, man. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I make content about making videos, so if you're into that, make sure to hit subscribe. I'm out, guys. Peace.